Africa's second most populous country, Ethiopia, has a lot to do in order to extricate itself from the pressures imposed upon it by internal and external factors. The government took bold measure when it announced a need to hold a national dialogue. Speaking to ETV Roundtable Show on government's decision to hold a national dialogue amid several challenges, Executive Director of African Artists Peace Initiative Ibrahim Sisai expressed absolute certainty that peace in Ethiopia will prevail because the country is on the right track to peace and nation building.
We have no doubt that there will be peace in Ethiopia. There's no doubt about that. And why is there no doubt? Because we are currently on the right track towards peace building, nation building, and also national development. Because the essence of the peace building process is leading towards nation building and then overall national development. So therefore, the country is on track in terms of bringing the issues of peace and mainstreaming it within the current socio-economic activities of the country. You don't forget that the issues of peace must not be a standalone issue, it must be mainstream in all sectors of the country. So we're on track. What needs to be done now is three things. One, how do we make sure we rally the different constituencies?
The humanitarian truce by the Ethiopian government shows how committed is the government for peace and national dialogue.
This is a positive affirmation that we can expect from the government. Sure. And if we have heard about this, one of the biggest achievements that we have heard yesterday was the truce and the humanitarian truce, which has been proclaimed by the government of Ethiopia, even though it's going to be conditional because it needs to be reciprocated by the terrorist group that is TPLF. Accessing humanitarian corridors is a big achievement, especially at the time when we loud about the national dialogue of Ethiopia.
Reflecting on lessons to be learned from South Africa, Assegid lauded the formative role of Ubuntu on achievements of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of South Africa. And this very translation of Ubuntu, which was practiced through offering amnesty to criminals by South African Truth and National Commission, can be repeated in the national dialogue of countries like Ethiopia.
The issue of Ubuntu, one of the factors that brought them together, that brought solidarity and consensus inside South Africa, is one of the biggest things that everyone should take a lesson from. Consensus has its own issues. For example, the issue of reconciling with the colonizers. After all that they have done with apartheid, after all the massacre, after all the things that we have seen in Sharpeville and Soweto between 1960 to 1940, 1994, is a big thing to see. But at the same time, they came up with the idea of forgiving each other while forgetting. It's good to forgive someone for those things, especially the atrocities that have been committed. But how, as a person, can somebody who has gone through those atrocities forgive those activities? It's one of the questions that got in my head.
For Sisai, Ethiopia's national dialogue would mean a lot to Africanism and Ethiopianism, apart from the target set by the country.
In the next few years, Ethiopia is positioning itself to be one of the most relevant countries in the entire globe. So that comes to a lot of challenges. Sure. So what is needed right now is the 3 R's. Because Ethiopia is bigger than Ethiopians. Do you get that? Ethiopia is bigger than Ethiopians. So therefore, we must look towards Ethiopianism. And what is Ethiopianism? Ethiopianism is synonymous to Africanism. You cannot separate the both of them. Sure. Because it was Ethiopia that, Kwame Nkrumah came, a lot of African leaders came here to get the knowledge, to get the science, to go back to Africa and liberate the countries. So that is the reason why Africa is in solidarity with Ethiopia. So the first R is relief. What the people need urgently, all the people affected by war, is relief.